Hello tubers, and today on this video we are going to take a look at some tennis cards, mostly from SI Kids, but maybe a couple from Net Pro as well. Alright, let's get started. First we'll take a look at the ladies, and of course if you're going to start with the ladies, you must start with Serena Williams. She has just turned the sport upside down since she began her career back in 1998, winning an astounding 23 Grand Slams during that time, and she's not finished yet. This is her first card from 1999, the July edition of Sports Illustrated for Kids. She has many subsequent cards that Sports Illustrated released that we'll get to in a minute, but right after we take a look at this SI Kids rookie here, we're going to take a look at the Net Pro rookie. These are drying up fast on eBay, but not quite as fast as you find as these Serena Williams rookies. These are just about impossible to find, especially for under $1,000. They're usually going to cost you much more. This is the dual patch auto card from Net Pro. Limited serial number to 100. I believe this one is 35, yeah. And like I said, people that have been lucky enough to get their hands on these are just hoarding them away because, as I mentioned on an earlier video, she's just really solidified herself as the greatest female athlete of all time. So look for this card to even increase in value even more in future years, along with all of her SI for Kids cards. So let's take a look at the rest of those right now. Again, this was the rookie from 1999, and just a few months later, in February of 2000, she was featured on this card with her sister Venus, who we will get to her cards in just a couple minutes. But first, we're going to finish looking at all of Serena's cards. This would be her third issue SI Kids card. This would be her fourth. Followed by her fifth superhero version. This would be her sixth card out of SI Kids. This would be her seventh card. I believe she's made most appearances out of anyone on SI for Kids cards outside of Tiger Woods. And right here you're looking at the eighth card of Serena. This was an all-star card, and there's a good chance she's still going strong, so there's a good chance there will be some more SI Kids cards of hers coming out in the future. Okay, moving along to her sister. This is her rookie card from SI for Kids. This was from 1995. November of 1995. Actually, I believe that's 1996 card. Kind of a cartoon segment they did that month with that issue. For all 9 athletes on the cards, but this was her first appearance on an SI Kids card. Later this one came along, followed by this one, and this one, and one more. Of course, Venus Williams had a tremendous career of her own. Not quite as successful as Serena, but then again, no one else has either. Except maybe this person right here, Steffi Graf. A lot of the records that Serena broke were Steffi Graf's. And this Steffi Graf rookie card is actually from the very first issue, the premiere issue of SI for Kids from 1989. This is the January of 1989. There you see card number 2. I believe Howie Long was number 1. This is card number 2. Steffi Graf's rookie card. These are getting pretty tough to find online as well. And she has several cards. We'll go through those real quickly. This would be our second. This is a card depicting her playing for her native Germany in the Olympics. This card depicts her as a youth, much like the Serena card did with her sister. Another one right here. And finally, this is her last SI for Kids card issue right here. This was a special fall-winter edition card that SI Kids released. Usually they do 12 months, issue 12 a year, sometimes 13. Oftentimes now, I believe the last few years, they've just issued 11. They've been combining January and February as a dual issue. So you're really, I believe the last couple of years you only have 11 9-card sheets issued. All right, moving on from Steffi Graf. We have another all-time great, Martina Navratilova. And this is her rookie card of SI Kids from March of 1989. And she did have one more that we released 2 years later. Next we have another great of the 1990s, and that's Monica Seles. She really dominated sport for a long time during that decade. That would be her rookie card, and she also subsequently had 2 more released from Sports Illustrated, as you see here. Moving on, we have some Legends cards here from SI Kids. Billie Jean King, Maureen Connolly, Helen Wills Moody, Althea Gibson. Broke a lot of barriers for Afro-Americans, kind of like Jackie Robinson. She was really a historic figure in women's tennis. Pam Shriver, Lori McNeil, all-time great Chrissy Everett, next one we have Jennifer Capriati. Many of us will remember back in the early 1990s where she just stormed on the scene as a 13-year-old. Just crazy talent at such a young age. She had a nice career, but not maybe quite as prominent as was once thought to be. But she did have a nice career. And she had one later issue card. Next we have Gabriella Sabatini, the Argentinian bombshell, and she had a second release, her as a youth. Zena Garrison, Rancha Sanchez Vicario, the Spaniard, she actually had a second card right there. Mary Jo Fernandez had a nice little career, never won a major, but was always consistent on the tour. Magdalena Maleva, the Bulgarian. Conchita Martinez from Spain. I believe she won a couple of French titles. I know one for sure. Maria Sharapova. Unfortunately for Maria, she came along the same time as Serena did, so it's really limited her tournament wins, but still has had a very, very nice career. As you see, she had 3 cards produced of her from Sports Illustrated. Moving along, outside of this Serena Williams rookie, this one might be the most difficult women's card to find. Because, well, number one, because Martina Hingis was one heck of a player, won several majors and had a very nice career, and then later had a very nice career in the doubles. But the reason why this card is so sought after and tough to find is, if you notice the date on it, is from 1296. Yes, it was on this issued on the same sheet that the Tiger Woods rookie card was. So A lot of these being hoarded away by collectors because it is on that Tiger Woods sheet. And Martina Hingis had a couple other cards depicting her from SI Kids. Next we have Justine N. Arded. Excellent player from Belgium. She had several cards of her released from SI Kids, as you see here. Next we have Eva Maioli from Croatia. Never had a great career, but she did have several tournament wins. Mary Pierce, same could be said about her, the French turned American citizen. Lindsay Davenport, she had a nice little career, winning several majors, and she had several cards from Sports Illustrated for Kids. And her last right here, 4 to be exact. Kim Clijsters as well, from Belgium, won several majors, and again, several cards from SI Kids collection. Next, we have Amalie Mauresmo. She did win a major, which was good enough to get her a card from Sports Illustrated. Next, we're getting in some European players. Elena Dementieva from Russia. Anna Ivanovic, the sometimes model, the sometimes tennis player. Whenever she played, she was successful. Here we have Dinar Safina, her brother Mats Safin, you will see later in the men's cards. Also out of Russia. Yelena Yankovic, always a tough player on the tour. Another Russian, Svetlana Kuznetsova, also with several tour victories under her belt. Francesca Schiavone out of Italy. Such an Italian name, isn't it? Sloane Stevens. Never quite lived up to the potential. A lot of people thought she was going to win a major or two, but just never quite happened for Sloane Stevens. Li Na did win a major or two. This is her rookie card. She also had a subsequent release from SI Kids. Robin Anderson. Caroline Wozniacki. Samantha Stosur. Petra Kvitova. Another major winner right here. She had 2 releases. Victoria Azarenka, winner of the US Open, I believe. Australian Open. Mariana Bartoli out of France. Astra Sharma out of Vanderbilt. Don't think she's made too much of a dent on the WTA yet, but she still has time. This young lady has Lucy Safarova. Some very impressive wins on tour thus far. Speaking of impressive wins on tour so far, this young lady, Naomi Osaka, was the woman to knock out Serena Williams at the most recent major, the US Open. She did it at a young age of 20, I believe. Look for her to be a factor on the tour in the next several years to come. Madison Keys, great young American hard-hitting player. Coco Vandeweghe, another American. And finishing out the women's series, we have Angelique Kerber, Karolina Pliskova, and the beautiful Simona Halep. Now we are going to move on to the men's, and we're going to try to get through the men's much more quickly because we are already at 15 minutes. For that, I do apologize. First, we're going to start with Andre Agassi, who is definitely not the greatest or not the most decorated in terms of tournament wins, but he is my favorite player of all time. He would have won many more majors if it weren't for Pete Sampras during his time. But this is his rookie from 1989. He did win 8 majors along the way, and he won majors on all 4 surfaces: the French, the Australian, the U.S., and Wimbledon. So the grass, hard courts, and clay. Yes, I am fanatical when it comes to Agassi, so I do have his Beckett graded auto card with him, and a couple of PSAs, including his second card, which was from 1993. And here's the raw version right here. And they, again, SI Kids does a little something quirky for the kids every now and again, and this is where they had them dressing, the athletes dressed up in other sports jerseys and memorabilia. This one, he is wearing a New York Rangers uniform. Later card of Agassi, once he cut the hair all off, and actually became more successful once the hair came off. Moving on to his foe throughout his career, Pete Sampras. Pete Sampras, of course, dominated for a decade, winning 14 Grand Slams. Never quite the all-around player, though. He never won the French Open on clay, but won on all the other surfaces. He also has another rookie card from 1991 Net Pro. Here are some of his subsequent releases. This one depicting him as Dracula in an October edition for Halloween. This one with a ping pong racket in his hand. And another right here. Moving on, we have Rafael Nadal. Now, he might be the greatest player of all time. He does not have as many major tournament wins as Roger Federer. He's got 17 as opposed to Federer's 20, but Nadal is definitely an all-surface player, having won on all 4 majors on all 3 different surfaces. So it would be hard to argue against Nadal being the greatest men's player of all time. And he, SI for Kids cards, must agree, because Sports Illustrated issued many releases of him. And he's still going strong, so there certainly may be more in the future. And now we're on to the aforementioned Roger Federer. Roger Federer, as I said, did win 20 majors. He has a rookie from 2003 Net Pro, which does precede this SI Kids rookie card from January of 2005, excuse me. And he has many others as well. You see this one, it came in a regular version and 3D version out of the magazine. You would need the glasses to view that. And this is his most recent card. Novak Djokovic. Certainly you could throw his name into the ring for great players of recent memory anyway. This is his 2010 SI Kids card. It is a nice rookie card. However, if you are a Novak Djokovic fan, you are going to want to get the 2006 Ace Grand Slam rookie card. You can get it in the autograph version too. Generally between $100 and $200. An excellent card to have if you are a Djokovic fan. And this was his other release from SI Kids. Next, we're going to start getting a little older here with Boris Becker. Great player out of Germany. Used to love watching him take on Stefan Edberg in some epic matches at Wimbledon and the US Open. And here is Stefan Edberg. A couple of great serve and volleyers. Jim Courier. Michael Chang. Of course, most people remember him for his underhand serve when he was injured in the major. I believe that was over Ivan Lendl. Jimmy Connors, American great. Here's the aforementioned Ivan Lendl. Legend card of the great Rod Laver. Andre Medvedev. Malavey Washington. Todd Martin. Sergei Bruguera. Thomas Muster. The only Austrian-born player that I'm aware of that's made a dent on the ATP Tour. Gugu, Gustavo Kuerten. Andy Roddick, the hard-hitting, hard-serving American. He was John Isner before John Isner became John Isner. Although Roddick had a better all-around game. Unfortunately, he was never really to break through at many major tournaments because he had all the big hitters in the game also at that time. But Andy Roddick was one heck of a player for the United States. Marat Safin, I mentioned earlier when he has a sister also that was on the women's tour. Safina. And next we have Stan Wawrinka. Roger Federer's Olympic teammate for Switzerland. Andy Murray, the great English player. Kei Nishikori, coming on strong lately for the United States. And we're going to finish up with Alexander Zverev and a youngster out of Wake Forest, Petros Chrysochous. Thank you all for watching, YouTube, and see you next time. Have a great day and happy collecting.